Update on the lineup, if you can.
Yeah, it seems that we didn't come up as unscathed. I think that's not a word. I just learned a new word now, so I'm using it. As we thought last night, we've got Schlappick, who won't be able to go tonight. We also know that Stoner won't be able to go tonight either. So now we're in the process of looking at bringing up somebody. So we'll see. We'll see who that is. It'll be a forward. Yeah, so if we'll see, and then the rest, I guess I'll have to try to manage the lines now, knowing which guy's coming in, and we'll go from there.
Okay, no chance of going 70 and seeing Eric Bergdorfer today?
The only chance we would have is if that person doesn't have time to get here on time. Then we could go 11-7. That's a possibility, but right now we would rather go 12-6.
Is weather an issue getting somebody here now?
I don't know. That's why we just kind of found out not long ago that Schlappy couldn't be going. So that's why I think the people are working now on what we need to do now.
Can you be a little more specific on Schlappick at all, or
upper body?
Upper body.
Okay.
Yeah. Was it a hit that he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously finished the game though, right? And this is something that you discovered this morning or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't last night, or else I wouldn't have said what I said last night, hoping that everything is fine. But that's what happens. It's these guys are they're gladiators. They take a lot of beating, and they I'd say 95% of it they can take, and they want to go the next day. They're certainly not the players are not the first guys that want to take themselves out. It's the opposite. They'll wait until the last second to say I can't go, unless it's something really bad that it's clear. So I think the kid wanted to definitely play again and continue to find his way to the NHL. So I think he just. He couldn't take it, and it was clear that he couldn't go, so he was honest at that point, and that's what we want from the players.
Just on Stone, is it safe to assume that he doesn't play before the All-Star break?
No, there's a possibility for Thursday.
You said inflammation, right?
Yes, that's why it's really swelling. It's not. I said, it's not a structural problem that we have to wait for it to heal. It's not a healing part. It's really inflammation. It's basically he ran into the boards and there's swelling. So now and there's less swelling. It's just it's when the swelling really impairs your movements, your mobility. Then then there's no use having Stoner going on one leg. So I think that's where it's at right now.
Anderson and goal.
Yes.
What was your message this morning to the team coach, if you've delivered one?
No. I'm talking tonight. I think this morning was power play and penalty kill in individual meetings with some guys.
Would you like to practice the speech right now with us?
Without going to specific details, I really liked their competitiveness yesterday. And it was there for 60 minutes. And after 2 periods, I thought we looked very good. We're looking at the game again. Sometimes you look at the game, you didn't like it as much, and sometimes it's the opposite. And looking at yesterday's game, I actually liked it even more than during the game. We did a lot of good things. We gave ourselves some real good scoring chances, and guys were paying the price. They were going deep in the offensive zone, and that was an issue. And that's 2 games in a row that our second period's good. So we put a lot of focus on it, and our players' mindset hopefully continues to grow in that direction. And we got a lot of injuries now. Let's not kid ourselves. It is what it is, and we got another one today. And the guys competed yesterday, and that's what we're asking right now. We want to compete, and we're on the road, and it's tough, and it's against really good teams. And it's going to be in a back-to-back today against a really good team that lost last game. I'm sure they're on a mission to take that game back. And so tonight we're expecting them at their very, very best, extremely intense, and we're certainly not expecting them to give us an easy game. That's for sure. And so we know on the back-to-back with a lot of guys missing, we're going to have to be at our best and be together and keep it tight to give ourselves a chance.
Just what has Borowiecki's coming back meant?
Well, we know that we need more physicality in our game, and the fact that he's back, certainly helps that aspect of our game. You know that if something happens on the ice, he'll be the first guy to jump in and help a buddy. And the fact that he's back is great, but at the same time, he's trying to find his timing back on some instances and stuff, and that's normal. That's what we expected. One thing's for sure, when you got a guy that can hunt you down, physically, it's tough for the opponent. It makes you more honest, because when you got it, you have to expect at any time that he can really hit you and hit you hard. It's tougher for the opponent to have to deal with you, and it makes you harder to play against. That's for sure. I think that's probably the best way to put it. You're harder to play against.
You talked about Conn White after the game last night, that he was his best game.
Yes, it was definitely his best game. He, what I found yesterday is that he was able to manage the center position and the wing, because with Smitty there, they flip-flop face-offs, and it's good because it doesn't make him having a deal with being the center at all spots on the ice. And a young guy like that's what's hard. If you look at the top players, whether it's Crosby or Matthews or those guys, when they come in the league, the toughest thing out of being a center, first of all, is winning face-offs. The NHL guys are real experts at face-offs, and the guys are strong and they're experienced and they know all the small details of taking face-offs. So it's a lot of pressure. People don't know that, but it's a lot of pressure having to deal with winning those big face-offs at big moments of the game. And you want to trust the kid, but you also know it's a much longer process for face-offs usually than it is for anything else. And the responsibility defensively also for a centerman is greater than it is for the winger, because there's more things to do and more ice to really take on, offensively and defensively, and that's more responsibility. So the fact that we can have him do both, it gives him enough breathing room to be able to grow at the right pace. And I think yesterday that's exactly what we saw. I thought he was doing all the little things right, and he's a battler. That's what I like. My favorite word is relentless, and that's what he is, and that's why we like him. So if he continues to grow this way at this pace, hopefully we get a player faster than later. But again, no pressure on him becoming what he's going to become at the pace that we would like it. It has to be at the pace that he can do it, and that's what we see with Chabot, and that's what we want Chabot. And you saw yesterday, if we're honest, it was tough for Chabby yesterday, because you're on the road and they got all the top players, and it's okay for a few shifts, but when you have to do it day in, day out, it becomes very difficult. And so we're hoping to be able to manage it a little differently for him today. Maybe alternate, the partner with Eric, and it's not because he's no good. We love him; he's great. But that's what the young guys are. They come in and they need to get a taste of it, and they need a little breather, and then they need to get another taste of it, and so on. So that's the way it's basically intervals. That's the way you progress, and that's what we're keeping our eye on for sure, because we want him to continue growing the right way. And Whitey's the same thing. You look great yesterday, but we got to prepare it sometimes. If it becomes a little too much for him to grasp, we got to be able to do the right moves for him to be able to manage it, so we can help him the best we can to grow. So that's where we're at right now, and let's not kid ourselves with our team being where it's at right now, and with all these injuries, it's a great opportunity for those guys to get ice time, but we have to be smart and manage it the right way for them.
A tough game for Carlson too. The backdoor plays were Chabot and Carlson.
Yeah, and the good thing is Eric is taking upon himself that when he's playing with Chabot, that he's helping the kid the most he can, and he's backing him up when the kid's taking off, and that's of course not necessarily a new thing for Eric, but it's something that's a bit different than what he's used to, and other guys have to back him up because he's going very often and taking off and jumping into the play and going deep in the offensive zone. And so that's where Eric is age and experience is helping Chabot, because it's similar type of players, and that's where Chabot can learn from Eric in that regard. And Eric's done a good job at talking with him and being patient with him, but it is also not necessarily always easy, for an older guy to do your job and help with the younger guy. So that's where Eric's job is kind of a mixed one right now. But that's the job of a vet. That's the job of a captain. That's the job, and that's what Eric's doing now. So, I'm welcoming all of this, and Eric is welcoming it too. And that's why I think Chabot is going to grow. It's going to grow fast.